Did you know that nearly 1 in 10 Americans ages 12 and up, 29 million people, are facing alcohol use disorder, according to the latest 2024 National Survey on Drug Use and Health? Today on the Escape Pod, we're inviting you into a powerful conversation with Seth Malott, the voice behind Sober City. Seth's podcast isn't just about statistics. It's about real-life triumphs, setbacks, and journeys of recovery told firsthand by those who've lived it. Get ready to hear inspiring stories, hard-hitting truths, and practical wisdom that just might change the way you see sobriety.
If ever your life could be a true crime podcast episode, then this podcast is for you. We're about to embark on a roller coaster of emotions, insights, survival, and stories about escape. So buckle up and let the journey begin.
All right, welcome back to the Escape Pod, everybody. This is a podcast for a cause about escaping all the things from trauma to poverty to addiction. And today we're escaping alcohol use disorder. I'm Charity.
I'm KB.
And today in the studio we have with us Seth Malott.
Hey.
Hi, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah.
So what are you escaping today, Cara Beth?
Cold feet, like literal cold feet.
Not like I'm going to
Not like
be
a cold
talking
feet
into
for
a microphone?
No, cold
Okay.
feet in the sense of like, so now that the seasons are changing in our house, like my husband's like, we'll wait to turn, we're on propane. We're out in the prairie, and so we've got propane, and so you just get a little stingy with it. And he's like, we're going to wait to turn the
That would
furnace
never
on.
work for me.
Oh.
The husband's got to go or the propane's got to come on.
So we've got a little like gas fireplace,
Yeah.
which runs off the propane as well. And it's lovely. It's beautiful to look at, but it's more ambience than it really is heat. It does put out some heat. But anyway, so every morning, you guys, I wake up and it's like 60 degrees in my house the last week. And
That's
my
brutal.
feet
Yeah.
are freezing. And so
Well, what happens if you step out of bed and it just shatters off?
I know that's
You
kind of
get
how I
like a
feel.
peg
That's
leg
how I'm feeling
running
right
around the
now.
house, yeah.
So he said next week. I
Okay.
don't know. I'll keep you posted.
Okay.
But I've been wearing slippers and then like slipper socks and then slippers. So
Well, that stinks.
I know.
also have been feeling the effects of the impending cold. What are you escaping this week, Seth?
Yeah, I'd say I'm escaping cold feet, and I'd probably say expectations, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just going with the flow, right?
Yeah.
I think just being present. So I would say that's probably what I'm working on escaping.
It can be hard, huh?
Oh yeah.
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 Life's a lot.
Right. Trying to avoid disappointment and just be present. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's that's my escape, or what I'm escaping.
Well,
What do you
thanks for
escape?
sharing that. Me today, I won't even get into work stuff. I won't, but it's the mother-in-law stuff.
Oh.
So I have a little 88-year-old mother-in-law who we moved here at the beginning of the year. Dementia, all the things. And her level of fabricating things in a convincing manner has hit all new heights.
Big way,
Yeah, your
There.
podcast. Tell us
There you
about
go.
Sober City. What inspired you to start sharing stories like that?
Yeah, Sober City is just something that I started with the mindset of what would I have appreciated when I first started getting sober.
Mm-hmm.
How long
And,
ago was that?
It was August 22nd of 2023.
Okay.
So it just celebrated 2
Congratulations.
years. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yes, and I think for anybody that is attempting sobriety, it's kind of a lonely feeling,
Mhm.
not just for the person attempting to get sober, but for anyone affected by the reason maybe why they're trying to get sober. And so, I just have the privilege of having a lot of very incredible people in my life that are courageous enough and understand the importance of sharing their journey
Mm-hmm.
for the sake of maybe using it to help someone else. And over time, just every week ask somebody and they were willing to. And
That's
so I just kept
awesome.
doing it.
Yeah.
So do you think it's like giving people permission to normalize that? Because I think there's a lot of shame around things, and
yeah.
People, especially productive people in society, so to speak, they want to hide that, right? They want to not have any labels, not have people think anything about them. Do you feel like these conversations help them I guess, navigate that. Like, I'm not inherently flawed. I am somebody who is also going through this. You know, we do this at One Heart with the people that we serve here and the types of decisions they're making before they come here. And I teach them about their brains and teach them that they're not broken. They're not inherently flawed. It's just that virtue of how the brain is operating when they're in crisis is not the same as when we are able to think ahead. Those two things do not coexist. So, you know, how do you... Does it help move them in that direction?
Yeah, I think what's important is hearing someone else describe your experience. That kind of really helps you not feel so alone or make you feel like such a screw up. So much about alcoholism and addiction is built on solitude and closed doors, right? You get really good at being fake and pretending, and eventually that facade breaks away. And when it does, you feel exposed and vulnerable. And so if you can find somebody that's willing to be in that space with you without judgment.
Yeah.
And the best way to not feel judged is when somebody comes alongside you and says, hey, I've done way worse, you know, or I can totally understand why you decided to drink before your daughter's wedding, right? Like everybody else is like, that was the worst possible time. But for us, it's like, makes sense to me, you know, and from there you kind of can build up when you have somebody that's
Can understand where you've been.
Absolutely. And walk alongside you without prejudice or without judgment. Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that why you started the podcast? Was it more to like give you that space and then by virtue of giving yourself that space, create it for other people?
Absolutely. Yeah. I figured if no one listened to this podcast, if nothing else, it's important for the people I'm talking to be willing to expose those dark parts of their life into the light. And by doing so, I think it just makes the world a little bit brighter for them at least. But eventually people listen to it and respond to it or message and say, hey, I listened to this episode. Your guests said a lot of things that I can relate to. And, you know, it's just an outlet, somewhere to start. Because when my wife kicked me out, I was like, I don't know. Who do I call? Where do I go? You know, and I think it would be good if there was a podcast, especially one locally, you know, where it's like, this is in my hometown. It's like, oh, I guess.
Like a lifeline, right?
Yeah, a little lifeline. Yeah, something just to throw it out there, a little beacon, right?
Do you, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Do you find when you're having these conversations with the guests that you've got on, and then even for yourself, when you're able to talk about what you went through and what you experienced to someone else, that there's a weight that gets lifted, that it's freeing? Like, I feel like so many people carry this shame from different things that they go through, and when they are not able to talk to others about it, it's this really heavy feeling. But then when you're able to spill the tea or voice it out, call it out, that there's this weight that kind of lifts away from it.
Oh yeah, 100%. When you own your mistakes, when you talk about the lowest point of your life, you know, you take the power back. When you keep it and you're afraid of people knowing about it, it kind of overcomes you. It becomes a part of you that you carry, you know, and when you say, hey, this is what happened, I'm not proud of it, you know, like something we like to say is that we no longer regret the past, but we don't shut the door on it. And that's really it, is I don't regret it, right? But I've learned from it and have been able to make tools from it, and I've used it to help others. And that's really otherwise, why did it have to happen? You know, if just reliving it in a negative way.
Well, I think your approach is making an impact. I heard about your podcast from two totally different, unrelated people in the same week. So first one, I'm in my hairstylist chair, and she mentions a friend of hers who'd been on your show, Amy. And I was like, oh, I think I know Amy. And so that's the one I listened to. And then later in that week, one of my employees mentioned it, and I was like, I need to reach out to this guy because it's, hey, I want to know what kind of work is going on in our community and what kind of resources there are.
Trying to create community rights is huge.
Yeah. What do you think is the biggest misconception about alcoholism that you've encountered through your work, and how do you address that on your podcast?
I would say the biggest misconception, at least the one that comes to mind right now, is that the problem is alcohol, or the problem is opioids or meth, right?
Mm-hmm.
What I like to tell people is that's not the problem, that's the solution for them, right? And so, because what happens a lot is somebody would say, man, if they could just stop drinking, it'd be so much better.
Right.
And what I tell people is I didn't really struggle with alcoholism until I stopped drinking. Once you took away my solution, the one thing that really worked was effective 100% of the time for me to feel like life's not so bad. Then I had to just deal with every day.
All the things that you're feeling the full impact of the things that were being dulled or deferred or whatever. Yeah.
It's like your coping mechanism.
It's a huge coping mechanism.
It was taken away.
And then it's something else. It's not just alcohol. That's, for me, marijuana was it's just an easy go-to.
Yeah.
But man, if I could get Valium or high Oxy or something, I mean, it just, what do you have, really?
Yeah. So you don't have to say what, but is there a thing in your life that you know exactly what that point was that made you start reaching for, like the thing you were trying to solve or address or dull or numb or whatever the case is? Are you aware of that in your life?
Anxiety, fear. I guess fear, really. I've always been a fearful person. And through sobriety, I've been able to pinpoint that fear. And then that's when I was able to really get sober, was when I recognized where that fear stemmed from, whether it be rejection or acceptance or meeting expectations. Like I said, that's
interesting.
That's something. Okay. And so, like, even before I got on the podcast, my mind started thinking, what am I going to say? What's my agenda? What's a cool thing that I'm going to say, And so as I'm walking in here, I'm trying to forget everything that I wasn't thinking of, right?
Yeah.
I hope we didn't make you anxious.
No, it doesn't make me anxious.
Okay.
What makes me anxious is when I start trying to say the script that I've been developing since you've invited me on the podcast and I mess it up, And then I start fumbling. The best thing for me is just to show up and just answer your questions and be present. And so those are the things, because what I used to do is I tried to control everything, and control. I thought I found comfort, and I can't control anything, really. And
it almost makes it worse. That constant rehearsal going on in your head of, this is what I know exactly what you're talking about because I do it too. And so
I think he's telling my story right now.
Yeah. So it's very relatable, but it's that, and it just continues to build. So when you can recognize that you're doing it and then shut it down and be like, you know what, I'm just going to give this and I'm going to let this go, and whatever will be, and it's going to be okay.
It'll be okay.
It'll be okay.
Well, because the people you're talking to, they don't know what your script was. They don't know what you've missed or messed up, right?
No.
But you will when I'm trying to say it, and then I start, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
it may not be that you know that I messed up a script, but you can tell something's off.
Something's off.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to leave here, and I'm going to play it over and over in my head the rest of the day. And then that's when I turn to something that's just going to shut it down for a bit, right?
And then it's like beating yourself up after the fact. It's like, oh gosh, I can't believe you almost feel like you're a letdown in those moments of like, oh, like I totally just, whacked that out of the park. Like that was not good. And
I'm never doing a podcast again.
Yeah. Like
that's my idea. Like, I'm stopping my podcast and
like just throwing the towel.
Some days,
start taking a sledgehammer to stuff, and then eventually it's like you end up drinking at the VFW. It's surprising, but that's it. So it's just
it is interesting that you say that though, because like I said, I'm not going to talk about work stuff, but it's been a really, really difficult couple of weeks here, and in the last few days, Nicole and I will look at each other and be like, and we're not heavy drinkers. Like, should we go to the bar? Should we go to the bar? Maybe we need to go to the bar. Maybe we need a drink. Like that's the solution. Never is it a solution. So the first day, I don't remember who mentioned it first, but she's like, yeah, if I start, I may not stop because that's just, and then yesterday, I think it was like, and I do not like the feeling of being drunk. I did an incredible amount of alcohol abuse in my younger days, and I cannot handle the feeling. But yesterday, I probably could have and wasn't going to serve any purpose at all except make me feel like garbage in an already stressful time. Because it's interesting that that's what your brain, and whether it's cultural programming or whatever it goes to, like that's going to be my solution. It's medicinal. It's going to make me feel better, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, and like he was saying, for some people it's a different drug, or maybe it's food or whatever it is. Like you're going to some material thing for a solution when really it's not a solution at all. It's not. You think that you're coping, but you're really not. You're not dealing,
delaying it
with
maybe,
the problem. Yeah, you're just kind of like putting a little Band-Aid on it for the time being, but you're not solving anything in doing that.
No, but the point is just right now I want to feel better, right?
Yeah.
That's how it works, is just right now I just want to take a mental vacation, but then
Later
you wake up the next day and then you have that anxiety, because you're hungover, that anxiousness, the fears compounded.
Yeah.
And for people like me, gosh, one beer and I'm like, let's go, or keep going.
ready to go. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like my brain just fires off. And then all of a sudden, a couple more, and I'm like, fun. Like we were talking about how the Halloween soiree,
Yeah.
I was Lieutenant Dan.
Yeah.
Man, just being sober and just having fun and not worried and being present and just enjoying the moment. And
You were
making
such a
people
good
laugh.
time.
Yeah, I had so much fun, and
Yeah.
my wife.
And you remember.
my
You get
poor
to
wife,
remember what you did.
I remember, yeah. And my poor wife is just, that's what, she's always.
She seems really sweet
She's
and
the best.
supportive. Yeah.
But she's more like, can we just sit here? And I'm rolling around in a wheelchair acting like Lieutenant Dan and doing things and making her uncomfortable.
I can tell you this man can work a room.
Yeah.
Like he had the whole group of people, a whole event eating out of the palm of his hands. It was great.
It was just, but joy, right? Like,
Yeah,
it's
it was
just-
so
and seeing
fun.
making people laugh is just, sharing joy is a pleasure, right? It's contagious.
So what was that turning point for you then? You mentioned getting kicked out. Your wife saying, go figure it out. Was that it, or was something already happening, or like what turned it around? So now you're celebrating these years of sobriety now.
Right. It's really crazy. And that's probably another misconception about alcoholism or addiction is people get DUIs, or my wife kicks me out. Oh, that'll do it, right?
Yeah.
Lose your job, all these things. And they're like, why don't you think, they're in the hospital for this?
Like, when's enough?
Right.
Yeah.
And for most people, okay, I have a problem, I'll stop. But like for me, I didn't really click, or I didn't really figure it out until probably 6 months after that. Like I stopped drinking and I just got sober, quote unquote, August 22nd. But sometime in April, like however many months that is, 8 months, I woke up one morning and was going to the gym. And I was only going to the gym because I thought it would impress my wife. And at that point, I'd been back home. She'd let me come back home. So I've been home for 4 months. And it was 6 a.m. and I'm going to the gym because I'm thinking that's going to get her to be impressed. I'm living for my wife and trying to just impress her. And I just didn't want to be awake anymore. I didn't want to go to the gym for sure. Didn't want to go to work. I wasn't happy. I was back home. I thought I'd be happier. And man, I just hit my knees that morning.
Oh, wow.
And my life just,
Wow.
like, just all of a sudden things started making sense. You know what I mean? Like, I had this joy and appreciation for life and this gratitude that came from something other than what I was trying to create still. So even though I was sober, I was trying to create joy for my wife or impress her. I was trying to create happiness, but I was just not doing it.
But you were empty.
I was
you didn't
so
have,
empty. Yeah, I had no. And what's cool is like you get sobriety for a while, and that obsession goes away. you know, that need to get high or like find pills, whatever. But the depression, you know what I mean? There's still a part of you where it's like, I'm missing something. And so like, I remember in November, 3 months into sobriety, I was probably the most depressed I've ever been in my life. And like, it was just like, I didn't know what else to do. I was sober, right? And I was doing what I thought I was supposed to be doing, but it's submission. That's what sobriety is like when you just stop fighting, you know, just stop trying to impress people, stop, you know, meeting expectations. And so, I mean, I wish I journaled because I would love to know what date that was. Honestly, because it was so insignificant, but I just remember getting on my knees on my couch and just being like, what? Like, I give up. I'm done. You know what I mean? But not like give up, like I give up on life. Like,
but you're giving up control.
Yes.
You're
control.
submitting.
Yeah. Submitting. And I don't know what I said or what, but ever since that day, just, man,
That's amazing.
I'm grateful. Like, you know, truly. Right. And so when you talk about the turning point, nothing happened that day. I didn't get in a fight with my wife, nothing traumatic. It was just one early morning before everybody was awake.
Yeah.
And I was going to the stupid gym because I hate the gym. And I only just started going back to the gym 2 weeks ago. After that, I was like, I'm not going unless I want to go.
Yeah.
I'm not going.
Good for you.
Good. It sounds like
It's crazy.
So I used to be a certified coach, and it sounds like at that moment you got out of your own way.
Yeah.
Like you were able to see what you were doing to impede your happiness, and by not really serving yourself, right? Just
That's it. Yeah.
doing things for everybody else.
That's it. I think when you just hit your knees, whatever it looks like, if you pray, whatever, but when you just hit your knees and feel like I'm done, like, right? It's just the strangest thing. And I think I got up and still went to the gym, but something clicked where I was like, Seth, stop, you know, stop. Yeah. Get
Well,
out
you're
of the
in
way.
that transition period then, right? Where you've got like this whole new level of awareness, and then like not quite sure where that's coming from, what's happening, but this is what's kind of expected of me right now. And so you kind of straddle that line for a while until that realization really seeps all the way through, and then you can, oh my God, like I've just relinquished control of this, something that I never had control of in the first place.
Yeah.
I've tried, but
hard. And that's exhausting. It's ego.
absolutely.
It's ego. And I thought I was a pretty humble person. But I heard once early in sobriety that humility is not thinking less of yourself, but thinking of yourself less. And that's,
I love that.
because I thought I was humble because I thought really less of myself, right?
Yeah, there's a difference.
There's a huge difference. But then when you're thinking of yourself less, that's humility and that's every day where I'm like showing up and trying to seek the needs of others, and then just working to see that they be met, you know, and not keeping score.
Yeah. Well, and I think that humility, the flip side of that is pride, right? And so I'll oftentimes, and this was a hard thing for me to like learn, because same thing, like I would think of myself like less of myself. But there's pride in there when you do it that way versus thinking of yourself less. So when you're constantly beating yourself up over everything and you're constantly thinking about what everyone else is thinking of you or whatnot, that's coming from actually like a prideful place.
It is, yeah.
And that's the worst. So when I learned that a few years ago, that was kind of a point where I was like, I really have to turn this headspace thing around, because that's not healthy. You can't beat yourself up like that.
No.
And I don't want to be prideful. So
No. One time I had coffee with a buddy, and after we were done having coffee, he said, "Hey, thanks for meeting with me, but I don't appreciate the way you talk about my friend."
Oh.
I was like, who did I talk about? You know what I mean? It's like the way you talk about yourself. And I never, but then it changed my idea or the way I look at myself, right?
Yeah.
Because I was just like, yeah, he'd be like, "Seth, that's awesome." I was like, yeah, but it was, anybody could have done that. Everything I did, I would downplay. And then it just changed how, same thing with my kids. When my kids, like, I'm a terrible drawer. I get upset and I say, I'd get upset if somebody said that about you.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm going to get upset with you when you tell you that about yourself. You know, I'm not going to let somebody else say that about you. Or like, I'm a bad friend. Nobody wants to be my friend. You know?
For you, do you think that was a like nature or nurture type of thing? I mean, did that play a role growing up? Was there anyone in your life that like got those ideas in your head about yourself, or was that all self-generated, or do you
Yeah, I
know?
think it is. I think it was just self-generated. There's just something about me that I could not, I just didn't, I don't think I've ever liked myself. Like, I don't know what, it wasn't like anybody was like, Seth, you're a failure, you're a loser. I just did it to myself. I think I was just
Really?
always felt like I'm not good at sports. I'm not good at, I can make people laugh, you know, and that's what I banked on. But for most of my life, I was like, gosh, Seth, what are you doing, dude? You know? And that's what I would do. Sometimes I would, when I drink or get high or whatever, but mostly when I drink, I would just stare at myself in the mirror, be like, nice, dude. Good job. You know?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So then even the thing that was helping you cope with some of it,
Yeah.
now you're also berating yourself for the thing. So you're not winning anywhere.
No,
Yeah.
not relaxing. Like,
Oh.
but it was like,
That feels
there was
really
something,
miserable.
there was a part of me though that fed on that self-pity. There, you know, that fed on being a manifesting failure. And then complaining about failing, you know, being negative all the time and then wondering why I'm depressed, right? It was like my brain just created these pathways that were familiar, which was, and that's really like our survival mechanism, like our nervous system just learns certain things and then says, oh yeah, well, we know what's going to happen now. And when you start thinking positive, like an attitude of gratitude, my brain started to now just gravitates towards positivity.
Yeah.
And it's incredible. I start having more positive experiences. Like I started yoga 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I'm so bad. I'm so bad at yoga.
Lots of people are bad at yoga, just so you know.
They have the
It's
easy,
okay.
an easy
Yeah.
pose is what it's called.
Yeah.
I can't do it. For more than 2 minutes. I'm like, this is so, like, you know, where you sit cross-legged.
Yeah.
All I
Yeah.
have to do is sit there and my hips are hurting so bad. I have to just,
Do you sit on a block?
no.
Lift
Try
your
a
hips
block,
up a little
yeah.
bit? Yeah.
Maybe I'll do that. Oh my gosh. This morning
But
I
your
was,
body's not used to it. So
that's it, right?
Yeah,
And
you
how
gotta
do you
be
get
patient.
better? Old Seth would have been like, this was a mistake. And I tried yoga before because my wife was like, you need yoga. You'd benefit from yoga.
yeah.
And then I tried and be like, that was the worst idea ever.
Oh.
I was so angry and it's hard for me too. I'm always looking around the room.
Yes.
Comparing yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And somebody who's a mentor of mine who's made a very positive impact in my life said, stay on your mat.
Yes.
Stay on your mat, meaning don't look around.
Yeah. Yep.
Focus on, stay on your mat. Where are you at? On your mat, right? And that's what I worked on this
That's
morning.
a
But
great lesson, actually.
it's a great lesson, yeah.
Yeah.
And don't compare myself to others and do
Yeah.
the best I can for sure.
Comparison is the thief of joy.
That's right. Yeah, Teddy Roosevelt. That's a good one. But yeah, I think there's a lot of things, but it took time for sure. A year of sobriety is not long.
Yeah.
It's always,
It's
right?
crazy.
I know people have been sober for a lot of years. I mean, one of my close friends, it's been over 30, well, man, yeah, probably 30 years now. And still it's a journey.
Every day.
You know?
Yeah, every day. You're not done. You're never done.
You're never done.
And that's what I tell guys is I'm glad you're good today, but don't take that as you've graduated sobriety
Yeah.
today.
Yeah,
And it's a daily reprieve.
really is a day at a time.
Yeah, really, that's it, right?
Well, we've seen some heartbreaking things here at One Heart for all the successes that our guests have accomplished. And I remember one story of a person who had been through the court system, ended up in DUI court instead of going to prison for DUIs, and ended up here. And as soon as they got off paper, probation was done, all the things were done, ready to graduate from college in like 3 weeks, close to graduating from here, like all of this amazing turn around and decided, yeah, you know what? I'm good. I've been sober for this long, so I'm going to test it.
Oh.
I'm going to test it. And we didn't realize that what's happened. There was a stalker involved too. So when they didn't make it back home here, we all freaked out and went looking for them. And then that shame kicked in. They were afraid to face us because it was that I'm gonna test this out and prove to myself that I have beat this thing. One shot was all it took. And it's just heartbreaking.
That's it. Yeah.
All of that. And not the doing it. I mean, it's how they felt about themselves for having done it, and it didn't, like succumbing to that, and that mind job and that shame and afraid to face us, which that's not a failure. We would have welcomed them back with open arms. This is surmountable. Sometimes this is part of the process.
It's a stumble.
It doesn't mean we don't love you any less. It doesn't mean, well, I said that wrong. We love you any less. It doesn't mean that we're not going to support you. It just means that you found out what you were thinking wasn't you, and you knew that was probably going to be the likely outcome, but now you know for sure.
That's it. Yeah, and that's why it's important when you mess up, you own it.
Grace, yeah.
But then I had a guy recently who made him he got upset or whatever. He was feeling that shame, right? That guilt, shame, and remorse, and which is dangerous for us. That guilt. You try to get rid of that as soon as possible, and so that's why we say you make it right as soon as possible. So you recognize you were wrong, and you talk to that person, say I was wrong to talk to you that way.
Yeah.
Regardless of what the response is, and that's where we don't set expectations. We just do what we need to do, which is to make it right. And whatever they say, you listen. You don't make excuses. You don't do a sorry but.
Yeah.
Which I can't stand. You say that was wrong. I recognize that was wrong.
Period.
And moving forward, this is what it's going to look like, and this is what you can expect in the future.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen again, right? But then what you do is then you find somebody. You do something for somebody else. That's it. You keep momentum. And so, when I make a mistake, I make it right with whoever I might have harmed or whatever I might have done. And then I call somebody. I call a new guy, a guy who's a month in. What do you need? How are you doing?
Yeah.
Start getting that mindset. Stop talking about looking at Seth, because otherwise I'll spend a whole day nurturing that regret. And it's nope, the only thing I can do is tell that person I was wrong.
Yeah.
And then I go out and I keep moving forward. But I get it, though, that failure, that feeling of, especially once you've built stuff, because then what you start to do, it's not so much you guys, it's just the way we see ourselves, which is, see, dude, you're a failure. Because we immediately, whenever we go into some place, we talk to you two or whatever, and we immediately think they don't like me. I don't belong here. And then when you relapse or you drink or you use, then you're see, you definitely, charity.
They're going to judge me. They're not going to accept me. Or,
But it's just
or they're whatever. And I think that's what it was. I think they were afraid that we would think less of them.
Or
that
they're
was
going to
not
think of
ever
them
gonna
the
be
way
the
they think of
case.
themselves.
Yeah.
They're going to finally find out the person I really am, and that's not true. That person isn't real. It's one we create for ourselves to keep us drunk and high. But then once we get sober and you meet people, you start to experience that. You build that trust, But it's tough. I had a psychologist, probably the thing that kept me sober the most in the beginning, which was, Seth, if you relapse, I don't think you're coming back. And not you're going to get sober, just because that depression.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I was so suicidal, self-harm or whatever.
Yeah.
But man, that really, and that's what I tell all my guys that call me and say, hey, I need to get sober, or I'm sober for a week. I'm you drink, you use, you die.
Yeah.
That's how you have to think of it. It sounds terrible, but that's just enough sometimes when if my wife's out of town and I'm out of town, I could drink, nobody would know. It's I will know, and I don't know what.
Yeah.
That depression is the worst thing. I wouldn't wish that depression on anybody, and so that feeling of just, I can't go back there, right? It was just enough until now. It's just, that just, you eventually get to the point where you just have so much love for life that drinking sounds like so much work to me.
It is. Yeah.
Not just the hangover, but like the way I had to drink, which was like, okay, my wife will allow me 2 beers. Well, now she won't allow me any,
Yeah.
but at that point, so I'll get 2 with her. But then like, I gotta find a way to hide a bottle at the house, right? Or all these. I had to, if I knew I was gonna drink that night, two beers, I had to plan out my whole day. I had to go buy a bottle, go to the house when she wasn't there, hide a bottle in the base. You know what I mean?
Oh gosh, yeah, that is a lot of work.
And then,
And then there's all that, because you're basically lying to your
oh yeah,
wife, then you're carrying that heavy
yeah.
ball and chain too.
And then the fear of getting caught, and then
Yes.
So how old did you say your kids were?
11, 9, and 5.
Oh, 3 of them. Okay.
Yeah, 3 boys.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
So they've seen this journey as well. Do you
Yeah.
have open conversations with them, or how do you like address this for them? And I am asking because I grew up with a drug addict, and we did not talk about these
No.
things at all. And yeah,
That's a good drug addict. That's what we like. We're good today. We don't need to talk about yesterday. No, I'm open with them. And my oldest mainly, my middle, so it would have been like 7. And he's not as aware. My oldest is hyper, probably like how you were growing up.
oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Or,
Yeah.
you just get hypersensitive to anger, to
Yeah,
tension,
yeah.
to, something's off with them, right?
Yeah.
And you're just always on edge. and
Hypervigilant. Yep.
hypervigilant. And what can I do so that we have a good day? It's up to me to fix all this, right?
Yep. Oh my God.
Right.
Yeah.
And so with my oldest, we talk. I mean, I have my coins in my dash, and we talk about alcoholism because he's still figuring it out. He said something where he said, "Seth, Dad, are you still an alcoholic?" And I said, "Oh yeah." And he said, "Oh, I thought you didn't drink anymore."
Oh.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, and so I had to explain to him like alcoholism's life for life.
Yeah.
Like I'll always be an alcoholic, and that helps me to know how I react to things, and so yeah, he's very intuitive, and he was the one that was like, I don't like it when you guys fight,
Mm-hmm.
and so yeah, he's a good one. Man, I remember one Christmas, one of the pivotal points, one thing that really made me think I had to get it together was one Christmas he said, "Dad, why didn't you like any of your Christmas presents?"
Oh.
Oh.
And that was like, dude, get it together. Because I was just on Christmas morning, my wife bought us all matching pajamas, and here I am being like, thanks, guys.
Yeah, because you probably are hungover and not.
And
feeling
he's like
great.
excited to see me open his present. Oh, I wasn't even hungover. That was the thing. I didn't even I didn't even think I was an alcoholic, 'cause I didn't think I drank that
Oh,
much.
okay,
You know, like I know people who drink more. Yeah, that was my idea. Because if you talk to any alcoholic or addict, they're like, "Oh, I know people worse than me."
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Right. And so it's always
But there's that comparison culture
yeah.
again.
comparison.
We can use it to beat ourselves up. We can also use it to justify,
Oh, absolutely.
like, well, we're not that bad, so we must not be bad. Therefore, like, we're fine.
100%. Yeah. And I felt like, man, I'm manageable. I haven't got a DUI. I still am married. You know what I mean? Still got a job, kind of. But man, and that was where I was wrong. Yeah. I was like, man, I'm a bad elk.
The
I'm bad.
honesty of children
Oh, man.
is just
Why didn't you like any of your
Different
Christmas
level.
presents? And man, I felt like the worst dad ever. And that bad thing was like, I wish I would have been hungover, because then I was like, all right, Seth. But it was just my depression. It was just waking up Christmas morning and be like, great, another day.
Yeah.
Just waking up was just getting out of bed. That's why depressed people is sleep. Sleeping early in sobriety was like, I would take 3-hour naps in the middle of the day. Like, and it was still a form of escape.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's also the brain healing too.
Yeah.
From,
Oh, yeah.
From the damage and all of that. I mean,
That's it too. Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
we talk to our guests very openly about that, about why we have curfews, why we have bedtimes here. It's not to micromanage people's lives. It's like, here's the neural sign, like and I teach them about all of it. Like, this is the only thing from some of the things your lifestyles have led you to do. You have to heal or your future's not going to look the greatest. So this is part of that. Here's how we start to regenerate the brain. And I'll even tell them, like, I started, it used to just kind of be anecdotal when it would come up here and there. Now I just do it every time we have an orientation. Did you know that one shot of tequila will stop brain regeneration for 6 months? And they're like,
Yeah, that's crazy.
and then you'll hear people go, like, you don't ever do just one.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, so tequila and I are no longer friends.
Is it only tequila?
No, it's all bad,
Okay.
but tequila's really bad.
Okay.
So we have parted ways, you know, and I just teach them about things. It's like, and I'll go through every substance and what it's actually like if you were to look at a brain scan, what their brains look like. And they're like, oh my God, you know, it's like just the more you know, the better you can do, the more control you have over the choices you make because you're more well informed. And so it's sometimes hard, and they're like, oh my God. And it's like, no judgment, like, been there, you know, we learn and we do better. So
Yeah, that's why it's good. That's because it's practical. It's applicable. It's something that when you say that about one shot of tequila, and my first thought is, what about 17?
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
ooh, that's really not good. And when you had your husband on, Tim Doyle, you know, and you're talking about TikTok, the effects of the
gosh.
dopamine,
Yeah.
right? And those are the things that the effects on the brain, but alcohol for sure, and the importance of sleep, like pornography is another one.
Yep.
Like if you can just say, other than like, hey, you know, God's watching, you know, or it's not good.
yeah,
But when you can explain to them, hey, when you doing that, this is what your brain's thinking over time. This is the effects of it. It's just another thing that you can apply to sobriety and living a healthier lifestyle.
Yeah.
For sure. I'm a big proponent of that. And on my podcast, I had Dr. Copel on, the psychologist, and she's brilliant. And the same thing. It's like, here's the science behind addiction. Here's why I can't just have one. But my wife, the second she starts to feel it, she's like, okay,
done.
this is time to stop. I can't, I get tingling.
Yeah,
Where I'm like, that's my green lights. That's when I'm like, all right.
get warmed up.
Rocking and rolling.
Now we're getting started. And it's not because I'm a screw up or I'm a failure, right? Or I'm an immoral person. Like, my brain just reacts differently, not just to alcohol, but man, when I take an oxy or anything, I'm like God level. It is insane how those little things, those opioids.
Yeah. I've never.
Dr. Tameng was in here one time telling us about, and I don't remember the exact ratios now, but like like a cigarette might be here, where it's how it's hitting your receptors, and then meth is like 10,000 times that, like, and then you're always chasing that level of high, and he broke it down, and I was just like, oh my God, I'm glad I didn't try that stuff,
No,
but
and that's the thing too. I mean, they say, like, you put 100 people in a room and give each one a drink of alcohol, maybe 10 of them will be an alcoholic, but you give each one of them meth, and it's like
game on.
yeah, 40
Yeah.
40 of them, 50 of them. I mean, meth is like, and that's the hard thing, right? Is that, and I've never done meth, thank God, but like that initial high is so, you're always trying to get that initial high back.
Trying to get it back.
Your brain, and the hard thing is your brain, like your brain was working against you with that addiction. Same with alcohol and anything else, but like, it's sad when your brain is like, hey, this is, because your brain's thinking this is good because it's a reward system.
Yep.
And your brain's thinking, oh, that was an incredible reward. You must have done something right. So whatever it was, do it again and keep doing it. And oh yeah, it's sad. And same with alcohol. Or it's like, but you kind of have to help your brain a little bit.
Well, and I think it's so good to be able to understand that perspective. I think that also gives you some power back, right?
Oh yeah.
In your walk of healing and sobriety from wherever you're coming from, that there is some of that brain science behind it.
Well, I know we've had guests too go through, as they're walking their journeys, ask really profound questions like, who will I be without that part of my
100%.
life? Did you go through that, like,
Oh yeah.
fear of,
The idea, I mean, it just never drinking again. What about my kid's wedding? You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, I just went, what about when I retire? Like, it was just, But it's like, dude, you want to ruin your kid's wedding and your retirement? But yeah, it was like but that's why another reason why I say one day at a time. Just don't drink today, Seth.
Yeah.
We're not, maybe at your son's wedding. Okay, fine. Okay. But you shouldn't even do that. But I mean, today, just today.
That's not today. The wedding's
That's
not today. Yeah.
But really, too, and I tell guys, it's like, we don't even project that you're going to, because if you think you're going to drink sometime, even if it's 20 years from now, you'll drink eventually. Like, you have to, like, close that door, but you're not making that commitment. Just making that commitment today. And just not today. Can you not drink right now? What is it that's making, and then you just try to distract yourself, do something else, or call, we say the phone replaces the bottle, call people, talk it out. And then that other person should be able to say, hey, here's why we're not going to do that. And I tell guys all the time, they'll call me and say, man, I had a bad day. I messed up today. And I was like, did you drink or use? And they're like, no. I was like, well, you'll be okay then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
You'll be okay. What is it? And 9 times out of 10, it's not that, whatever they're freaking out about is not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. A lot of times it's a stumble.
It's a little stumble, and then here's how we're going to approach it, and you'll be fine, you know?
Ego and judgment inflates it, and then we,
And that victim.
point to all of
Screwed
that.
up. I
Yeah.
told you I suck.
It's that beating yourself up on the inside.
Yeah.
And it's like, I've said this to the youth group girls that I lead, but I'm like, and because it's a bunch of girls, so I don't know if the same would be true. I would assume for boys too, but I'm like, when you're thinking so hard on yourself, imagine saying what you're saying in your head right now to that 5-year-old little girl that you were. Like, you would never say that. I would never say some of the horrible things that I think about myself to my daughters. I would never say that. So why on earth am I walking around during the day saying these terrible things to myself in my head? Why? That's not who I am.
Right.
And so it's like trying to reframe your brain when you pick up on that stuff. And when you're, whatever it is, whatever it's a stumble, you're like, oh, I'm such an idiot. And you're beating yourself up over it. It's like, it's not a big deal. It's going to be okay. Charity is an awesome boss. There's a lot of times where I'll do stupid little stuff and I'll call her and be like, this is so dumb. I'm such an idiot. And I'm like, this is what I did. And she'll just kind of walk me through. She's like, it's okay. And then we'll laugh it out together and we move on. Thank God that you are such a good boss that way. And it's not often, but when it does, it's like you need people like that in your life to be able to give you some pick me up and some grace in those things. Because, we are our own worst enemy sometimes.
Yeah. And we just allow ourselves to be abusive to ourselves.
Yeah, why?
It's excusable.
Almost like an alien or some kind of little invader. Maybe it's a virus or something that's like this voice. It's not really it's ego. It's all,
ego.
Yeah.
There is a part of us.
there's gotta be, I can't believe we haven't figured out how to shut that thing up yet.
Yeah, sometimes
You know what
I
I mean?
feel like it's you remember like how there was like the angel and then the devil on your shoulder? And I'm like, the devil sometimes is way louder than I need the angel.
I
to speak
think
up
the
more.
voice is the snake, though.
Yeah.
It's like this.
Slithering.
Yeah.
Nasty.
Well, I think it's just comfortable. It's like if we do it to ourselves, I think it's just we're trying to soften the blow.
Yeah.
I think there's a reason why it's a coping mechanism to failure. It's a coping mechanism to embarrassment, and we think it's just our brain saying, "This is what you deserve," because like you'd ask Charity, like, is this coming from someplace? But like that's the idea is like when you make a mistake, it's our brain is thinking, hey, this isn't good. You messed up, and how do you respond to that? And like sometimes, and like with children, right? Like when I yell at my kids, and I shouldn't, I recognize like that response is coming from a selfish place within me where I'm trying to control them, and I'm supposed to be the adult, and so trying to help regulate emotions, but I can see how as you get older, you start to be like, I'm doing this to myself, right? And Charity might be like, you're fine, maybe, but you're still like, no, I deserve verbal abuse.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give it to me.
Give me a pink slip.
Yeah.
Screwed up.
Right. I quit. You can't fire me. I quit. Yeah. it's sad, but it's just training your brain. It's just our brain's an incredible thing. There's this thing called elasticity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where our brain can create neural pathways.
Yeah.
Yep.
And over time, and that's why I love what One Heart does, because you're giving them one of the best things to do is create a structured environment. And it's really uncomfortable for them, and especially
At first, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, and addicts and alcoholics, we hate authority. You know what I mean? We hate cops, right, or whatever. But I tell you what, we get sober, and some of my best friends will say, "Man, a lot of them, I'm alive because of that cop."
Yeah.
You know, I'm alive. A guy recently referred them to, he said, angel with a badge knocked on my window. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the time, oh man, cops or One Heart Charity doesn't let me stay up till midnight and watch TikToks or 2 a.m, right?
Oh, she's knocking on that door saying, "Go to bed.
Go to bed.
Lights out."
I'm an adult. It's like, well, are you though? You're not adult. You haven't been adulting very well. But you create that environment and then in habits, and eventually, like, oh my gosh, I do feel better.
Yeah.
And then you build off of that, and then your brain's like, oh, new reward systems, and then these pathways, and then eventually, it's crazy. My wife will tell me something like, "Do you remember when you did this?" And I sometimes spend so much time thinking, like, what was I thinking? Like we get into arguments about something, and I'm like, why was that so important to me?
I was possessed.
Yes, yeah.
I was possessed by that whatever little demon or, yeah.
But it's like, it's insanity.
Yeah.
And that's how you do it, is you create new pathways, and there's hope. There's hope, I guarantee you. Yeah.
I was just telling, I happen to just be walking across campus. I'm on the sidewalk, and I run into one of our guests who, at the time this conversation happened, had only been on campus for a couple of months, he and his family. And I don't really know his whole story. I think he told me he'd spent some time in prison. I don't know for what. I don't ask a lot of details. I'm not a case manager, so I don't delve. Sometimes they'll tell me, but I never ask. And he was talking about some of those lessons learned during orientation, and he was dealing with and because I always teach about like brain chemicals and like how you can get healthy highs and do these things to like help heal the brain, and that the whole model of the campus is to get your brain operating in an efficient, effective manner, and all blah 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 blah. Well, he said, I'm going through these things, and I'm really grateful for this opportunity and the environment. And one of the comments he made was, people are so like welcoming here, and I'm like, well, yeah, I train them. He goes, no, your staff are great, but I even mean like other guests, like they hold the door for me. And then he started like, that's never happened before, where just people are respectful.
Yeah.
And then he was talking about the fear of like, he's doing all these new things, he's learning these new things, and he's finding he's really fearful over it. And I went, you know what that is? And he goes, no. And so I was explaining to him neural nets. I said, when you have like a way of doing something and you've learned it young, that's the path of least resistance, and that's just going to be your go-to unless you consciously change it. And when you change it and you're having a new experience, your emotional gauging system is telling you that's new, but you misinterpret it as fear. This is scary, so people will back away. I said, but you consciously know what you're doing is good and it's healthy. It's just new. I said, so if you lean into it, pretty soon that becomes the comfortable thing. That's the neural net. Now, the next time these situations are happening, that's going to be your go-to, and you have just powered up. And he's like, that's really cool. and he's like, really? Never thought about it that way. I'm like, yeah, you're just like, you are building your muscles, like you're building this. And he's like, that's really cool.
That's 100%. That's exactly what it is. That's how and there's fear, because your brain's like, whoa, dude, stop, right? Yeah. And like what you said, lean into it. That's the guy, my mentor. I would call him freaking out about something. He said, lean in, buddy.
Cool.
Lean in.
Yeah.
And that's what you do. You just keep charging. You know what you're doing is right. You know I'm doing the right thing. But your brain is still like, whoa, hold up, dude.
Yeah.
And eventually, as you venture into those new areas and these new territories, and things go okay, then your brain's like, oh, okay, I guess I kind of,
Yeah.
sorry about freaking out a second ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess this isn't too bad. And eventually your comfort zone expands. And before you know it, you're acting like Lieutenant Dan in a room full of strangers, totally sober. And
The star of the show. It was
leaving there,
great.
not even thinking about it.
Yeah.
You know, I used to, so it's an incredible thing. And that's where you get people to help you though, and kind of say, hey, you're doing the right thing. That's right. That's good. Because sometimes we don't even realize we're doing the right thing. And I'll tell a guy, I was like, do you realize like what you did is huge? He's like, yeah, I guess I didn't even really think about it, you know, because
Oh, the things we do when we don't think
right
are
yeah.
incredible.
Mm-hmm.
It's when
Yeah.
we think that we get in our
That's
own
when
way.
we think, yeah.
Yeah.
Stop thinking.
That's like me chasing down the abuser on the sidewalk without
Nope.
thinking.
Yeah.
Just
'cause-
ran out of the office one day. I'm watching out an employee's window. I see a man. I've talked about it on the podcast, but I just for your benefit, I see a man like this little tiny, presumably Native American gal, like really small, 5'1" maybe, tiny little gal. He grabs her by the back of the arm, flips her around, and starts marching her towards a truck. And I just start running. And anyway, I got her to safety, but and then later went, what the hell did I just do? I was like freaking out for the rest of the day. Like, he could have run me over. He could have shot me. Like, oh my God. All I knew in that moment was she was not safe. And I just ran and did not think.
right
All the
around-
thinking came later when my husband, the adrenaline is
right.
dumping and I'm like, oh my God, I am a lunatic. Like, but
And then you tell Lieutenant Doyle. He's like, what are, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I can only imagine his response to that.
no, he actually said, good job.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that is great. And that's it. Right. And adrenaline. And also when we think, yeah, it's good to run off of what we know to be right
Yeah.
and act on it and not when we're angry or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds like a really good piece of advice to wrap up on. I think just don't overthink it. Give yourself some grace in anything. It doesn't have to be substance use or abuse or anything like just anything.
Stop thinking.
yeah.
And I think the thing with alcoholism or addiction is we all struggle with something, right? And so people always say, well, the first step is admitting you have a problem.
I can't sleep. Can
Yeah.
you help me with that?
Well, yeah,
please?
right.
Yeah.
And you just source it, but it's fear. Most all of us, and that's one thing I have like a fear sensor now, and I can just pinpoint. Oh, that's fear. I can just see it. We all have this fear, and if you can address, and the opposite of fear is faith. You know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so just trust yourself and trust whatever you have faith in, and just know that you'll be okay. And one last thing, and then we can close. But when it comes to regrets, is to remember that we're given tools every day, right? And as long as we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, we're given good tools. And so when you look in the past and you think, God, I was such a screw up, well, just know you didn't have the tools that you have now, and you were able to get tools from that experience, right?
Right.
And so then when you're worried about the future, just know, don't worry about the future, because whatever tools you're going to be given in that time frame is going to be what you need in that moment.
Yeah.
So right now, when I get anxious about something that's going to happen tomorrow, I'm just like, I'm anxious because I haven't been given the tools. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yes.
Yep. You're
And
not
that's
there
how
yet.
But right now, when I'm sitting with you two and I have this microphone, I know I have the tools that got me to what I need to do to be present and be here and do what I need to do
Absolutely.
and say. So yeah, I appreciate you both, and you're doing an amazing thing. And One Heart is an incredible organization, and I'm very grateful for it. It's helped some very dear friends of mine.
Awesome. That's really good to hear. Thank you for that. And I really hope, I wish listeners could be in the room, because the feelings today, I hope it translates through whether you watch it or you listen to it or whatever. It just being just raw and real and vulnerable. And thank you for all of that.
Are you ready to re-enter the workforce or find a career that actually fits? Or maybe you're an employer tired of noisy platforms that miss the mark? Try Focus, a smarter hiring tool that helps you cut through the noise and focus on what matters. Visit focus.work today. That's FOQUS.WORK.
So we'll start with you then. What are you going to escape to after this?
So actually, two things I'm excited about. One, I'm going to see my physical therapist this afternoon, and I texted him this morning, and I said, help my hips, dude. I need to be able to do easy pose.
I need to level up in yoga.
I got to at least do the it's called easy pose. Yeah. I can't do it. I got to be able to do easy pose at least. That's killing me every time I do yoga. And then managed to lock in a tea time for Saturday with a good friend, a couple good friends, and I'm not a very good golfer, but golf is a great way to keep me humble, and patient, and gracious towards myself.
Good.
You want to talk about negative self-talk? I am really hard on myself on the golf course, and that's the best place for me to learn.
Practice.
Yeah. And so golf is a good escape. I put my phone in my bag, and I just be present. And so those are my two escapes. I'm excited to get some good stretching done, and then I'm excited.
Awesome.
It's going to be nice on Saturday, so excited for that.
Very cool.
It'll be good escapes.
How about you, KB?
I am escaping to, we've got my niece coming down this weekend on Friday night. So she'll be here Friday night and Saturday. And then, so Saturday we kind of have like a girls date. So we're going to go out and have lunch. And I guess one of the cookie places has some Dubai chocolate. I don't know. They tell me these things and I'm like, all right, let's go. But it's super fun to just, I don't know, hang out with them and just chill. And I'm sure we'll just, again, like I sometimes like just escape to home. It sounds terribly boring, but like I love our home because we live out on the prairie and there's these rolling hills. We've got a couple of horses and it's just
idyllic.
Peaceful. Yeah, it's peaceful. Like
That's good. That's how it should be.
The sunrises and the sunsets never get boring to me. So anyway, that's kind of just a simple weekend with family. So yeah, what about you? What are you escaping to?
I'm gonna actually take tomorrow off.
What?
OFF. Yes, because it has been 3 weeks of.
Good for you.
I mean, I've told you before about like that fighter pilot syndrome where like I get to work and I feel like it's a Star Wars movie and I've got lasers coming out my head and there's just all this stuff going on. And I don't know, was it you sitting at my desk? And my computer's like, there's like 4 or 5 different platforms. Ping, ping,
ping,
ping.
Every time
ping.
I sit at your desk,
like,
I feel like that's how it is.
One more ding, just one more ding.
I had to silence all mine.
Can't do it. So yeah, phone is not even coming. And Linda and I are going to go hike.
Good.
I do have one appointment, but it's not work related, just some banking stuff I have to take care of. And then I'm going in for a massage, and I am out of pocket. No one. If this place blows up, I'll learn about it Saturday.
I love that.
Everything will be okay. Everybody's going to figure it out without you. That's how you got to do it.
All right. Well, thank you, Seth, for being here. Maybe we'll have you back.
Oh, I'd love to. Yeah.
When does your podcast kick back up?
Oh yeah. So I halted it on my 2-year sobriety date, August 22nd, and that was exactly 6 months from when I started it, which was April 22nd.
Okay.
So my plan is, I would assume,
in the spring.
Or no, February.
Oh, February.
Okay.
Thank you for tuning in. We truly appreciate each and every one of you. If you like what you heard, please share it with a friend who you think might enjoy it. And be sure to follow and subscribe to help us grow.
That's right. With your help, we can make a real difference. It'd mean a lot to us if you take a moment, just leave us a quick little 5-star review wherever you listen. Help broaden our reach, means more revenue through advertising, which means helping more people on the One Heart campus escape the unthinkable. You can support the show by becoming a patron at escapepod.live. You can connect with us on our socials through our website, or send your thoughts on this episode to justbecause at escapepod.live. You send me a message for Seth, I will make sure he gets it. Or you can share your personal stories of escaping anything that we talked about today to escapeartist at escapepod.live.
All right, that's a wrap on this episode of the Escape Pod. Remember, trauma may be inevitable, but how you grapple with it is optional. So stay resilient
and keep laughing. Thanks, everybody.